I started in 1985, so I've been up there almost 30 years now.
And, I mean, the survival really isn't easy. People don't take the title seriously, but first of all, being a fisherman on the sea is more dangerous than almost any other job, and then being a king crab fisherman, as far as I understand, is more dangerous than most other kinds of fishing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's one thing to be hauling in lines or nets or things like that, but, you know, I mean, we're hauling in 800-pound cages with another 500 pounds of crab in them. I mean, literally, they are 1,500-pound wrecking balls that we're trying to control. And, you know, when steel hits steel, if there's anything between it, it doesn't last long.
I know that all too well.
Yeah.
But it's worth it if you haul on a big pot full of crabs, right? I mean, they're worth like 60, 70 bucks a piece.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've made thousands of dollars in an hour before.
So,
and I've made nothing for a week's worth of work or a month. So
I always wonder when I'm watching the show, do you guys make more because of the show, or are you still reliant on a big haul?
Oh no, my primary business is crab fishing, and that's what pays my bills. That's what gets my boat off the dock. You know, I mean, I'm $500,000 to $700,000 just to get it out of Seattle and get it up to Alaska to start working. You know, I run $300,000 to $400,000, sometimes $500,000 a year just in fuel for about 6 months worth of fishing. So, I mean, my costs are extremely high. So we have to catch a lot of crab in order to pay that off. The TV money's a nice secondary income.
Right.
But it's not paying the bills.
And so how's the fishing end of the business going? Because you did testify in front of the Senate last year about fishing.
The fishing end of it is good. You know, I mean, Alaska's been rated as, you know, one of the top 3 sustainable fisheries on the planet. So, you know, the fisheries managers and regulatory bodies have found a way to manage our fisheries, which are they're neophyte fisheries. I mean, think about it. You know, the Bering Sea in Alaska really is only about 30 or 40-year-old fishery. So they've had the mistakes of other fisheries, say off the Grand Banks or around the world, that have been in existence for 200-300 years, to use as benchmarks to say, oh wait, that didn't work. Let's not do that. So it's managed really well, but at the same time, they can't manage the environment.
Right.
You know, our impact as fishermen is negligible. But Mother Nature's impact through warming trends and cooling trends dictates survival rates of juvenile crab, fish, everything.
So how do you see global climate change? I mean, how do you see it affect your day-to-day job up there? Oh,
we're seeing myself. You ask most fishermen, what do you think of climate change? They'll say, oh, there's no such thing as that. Well, you know what? Hey, look at the weather. In the last decade, we've had the 3 or 4 coldest recorded years in the last 100 in the Bering Sea.
And it's obviously stormy.
Yes.
In a place that's already got rough waters, they're even rougher.
We've also seen the 4 warmest years in the last 12 years. I mean, that's irregular. And what it is what we're seeing is a lot more erratic weather. We're seeing a lot more severe weather systems and storms. I mean, you're seeing it here. I mean, when you got the polar vortexes, pretty much put the Midwest and the East Coast in just the deep freeze all winter long.
Does that make your job more dangerous? Because we have seen a number of vessels go down on the Deadliest Catch. I mean, aside from Phil Harris, there have been a number of other fishermen lost their lives on the show.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, and unfortunately, this year is no different.
What about what the regulators try and do? I mean, the first season was a derby-style fishing competition, and then they've gone to quotas, which wasn't helpful to a lot of the smaller fishing vessels up there. They kind of dropped out of it. But does it make it safer since you don't have to rush to try and get as much as you can?
It's, you know, it has, the derby system was probably the most dangerous fishery on the planet. I mean, we used to fish 10 million pounds of king crab and we'd get 3 or 4 days to fish. So if you got out there and in that 3-day window you were facing hurricane force winds, guys would try and fish through it because it might be 40% of your annual income that you're going to make in those 4 days. Today with the IFQ or the quota-based system, we don't have to work during those 3 or 4 days. So it's helped us immensely. You know, the downsizing of the fleet has also helped a lot too. You know, you say small boats, but maybe not necessarily small boats, but boats that were in disrepair. You know, the fleet was overcapitalized. There were a lot of guys just hanging on by a thread.
So it was calling the herd, in a sense.
Yeah, and so now you've got, for the most part, big or small. You know, I mean, like the Teresa Maria is a, you know, I don't know, 70-foot boat, 60-foot boat. There's still small boats out there fishing well and doing well up there, you know. But at the end of the day, it's a big boat fishery. You know?
What are we going to see? Give us a quick preview of the 10th season. I saw Greenhorn get bit by a king crab pincher.
That happens every year. You're going to see, I would say if you take a time capsule of 9 seasons of Deadliest Catch, you're going to see all of it in season 10.